Star Wars, nothing
Nothing
but
but
Star
Star
Wars. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Brothers Take podcast. I am Kris. I am joined by my brother, Eric.
Hello.
Hello there. And we are back in the room this week to give our spoiler-filled thoughts on Jedi Survivor. I have finished the game. Eric, have you finished the game?
I have finished the game.
We have finished the game. So, that just to give you the heads up then, once the music plays, there'll be no we're giving our non-spoiler impressions first, and it's just, this is a spoiler talk. We gave our non-spoiler first impressions in last week's episode. If you haven't checked it out, you can go back and check it out if you want. But this is full spoilers, and we want to hear from you guys too. So if you guys are watching YouTube, jump down in the comments at any point to share your thoughts on Jedi Survivor or on anything that we bring up that maybe you have your own take on. You know, feel free to share it. If you enjoyed this discussion, why not give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell for all future content. And to those of you listening to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on what the fuck just happened. I don't know if does anyone know what just happened? Okay, in the back, my fucking blinds just collapsed. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear it. You could probably see it though, Eric. Could you?
I know. I heard and saw it.
You heard and saw it.
Yeah, just the dark side of the Force has invaded your.
The Force is strong with me.
Yeah.
Fuck, that scared the shit out of me. Okay, but sorry, if you are listening to audio platforms, it was worthwhile explaining what just happened. You can touch base with us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Jedi Survivor and fucking falling blinds. But without...
That is not the intro you were looking for.
No, this is not... Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's talk Star Wars. Okay.
All the references. Just get them all in there.
Just get them all in there. Just get a little reference in there. Where do we start? Eric?
Well, the beginning.
Start? Yeah, okay. I'm not going. We're not going through this game scene by scene.
No. We're going scene by scene.
No
every
way.
Time.
No.
All little collectibles.
Well, let me just put it this way then, right? Actually, we should start here. We should do what's your review for the game now? We'll go into more specifics after, but you can say spoilers, but what's your review of the game now that you have finished it?
Right. So it's still probably one of the kind of best Star Wars games out there on sort of just a world building, story driven, and customizing. I mean, the customizing just of your lightsaber, the handgun, the pistol thing you get, and of BD1, customizing the clothes, and how making Cal Kestis the Jedi that you want to play as, I think is really cool. And just the level, not necessarily level design, but the world design that they've done for each of the places you go to is really nice. But the From Software style gameplay doesn't work for the game.
Okay.
It doesn't work. There's something about it where it's just in Dark Souls, Demon Souls, Bloodborne, when you go up to that campfire or you go up to that lamp and you spawn the enemies are undead. They're monsters. They're something otherworldly. So it's you're doing something that's affecting the world and the enemies respond. Star Wars isn't like that. So when you do the meditation point and the stormtrooper you just killed 2 seconds ago is all of a sudden standing there again, it's like, how long was I meditating? It just kind of breaks the world immersion for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
And then the constant going back and forth. It was like, you actually could have put these missions on other worlds, because you can clearly tell, looking at the galaxy map, so you can see silhouettes of other worlds. So when I first opened that up, I was like, oh my God, there's so many places to go to. And then it's, no, that's all going to be left for DLC, or at least that's my theory.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm right with you. I do think that the back and forth, I don't enjoy. I like that there's kind of a home hub world in Kobo, right? I kind of like that. I like that for story reasons, you end up there first. You do a little thing, then you launch on your adventure. But from then onwards, I would kind of like every story mission to take place on different planets, that afterwards you can go back and explore if you want, but you don't have to. and that when every time you come back to Kobo, it's for side missions now. It's for, you know what I mean, for all those people who are in Rambler's Reach or Pylon Saloon,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. You know, your Turgle and whatever. I fucking love Turgle, little fucking asshole. But the back and forth, because like there's a point where like you go to rescue Z, right?
Yes.
And it's the longest mission ever because Z is a compass to fucking Tanalore, right? And then they're
Yeah.
like, no, we don't need Z at all. So you save Z. And it's like, actually, the thing we need is on. I know where the thing we need is. And it's on the Shattered Moon or something like that. So then you go to the Shattered Moon to basically just fight Ravus.
Yeah.
And then you've realized that actually you got to go back to Kobo to go up to the big observatory. And like most of these missions are awesome, but it's just, there is this
Well, yeah, it's like
I
you
wanted
go,
like a spacefaring adventure kind of thing, and there's a lot of
because
just back and forth and back
you
and
go
forth.
to Kobo first,
Yeah,
and you do a lot there. It's a huge, sprawling map of all different types of locations, ranging from arid desert to jungle to a mountaintop to swamps and stuff. It's massive, and you find Dagon Gera there, and then you go to Jeddah, and then Jeddah tells you about the compasses. So then you have to go to Kobo and the Shattered Moon to get those two compasses, to go back to Jeddah, to then find out Z was captured, to go back to Kobo, to then find Z. And then with Z, I think Z tells you to go to the Shattered Moon. So then you go to the Shattered Moon again to get the, like you said, defeat Ravus, get the compass. Then the compass is broken, so you go back to Jeddah so that Jeddah can fix it, and then you have to go back to Kobo, and then from Kobo, and then you go back to Jeddah again. You're just like, oh my god,
it's so much back and forth. Yeah,
like why is if all right? So we're getting further into the spoilers. There is Dagon Gera is this High Republic Jedi.
yeah,
It was awesome. He was really cool. I actually
cool
really
character.
liked him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool
and I
character.
liked Ravus. I liked Ravus.
I like Ravus. He's the same species as Dirge from
As
the
Dirge, I loved
Star
what I
Wars
said.
cartoon, and I was like,
I was
that's
like,
so sick.
they brought them back. I was like, yay.
Yeah, yeah.
So Dagon Gera betrayed the Jedi in his own, for some weird reason, he betrayed them, and his friend Centauri Kree decided to hide compasses so that that's a Dagon and no one else can make it back to Tanalore.
Right, we said before in our first impressions, it's an Uncharted game.
It's very much an Uncharted
You're looking
game.
for the Uncharted planet, or at least a way to get there.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
You'd think in all the worlds, in all the vast galaxy of Star Wars, that she would pick better places to hide the 3 freaking compass pieces than
Then
2
where
on
they
Kobo.
came from.
Yeah, than 2 on Kobo and 1 on the Shattered Moon, all within the vicinity of Dagon Gera in a bacta tank. He's not even dead. He's in a tank.
Yeah.
Can eventually wake up. That part is very not thought out, in my opinion.
So it sounds like you don't like this game, Eric.
No, I
It was
do.
to surmise from what you're just saying here. You know, when I asked for your review, it's straight away a rant.
Well, I'm getting that nitpick part out of the way because
I kind of with you, right? Let me just jump in here for a second.
Yeah.
If I was to give my review, the game starts okay.
It does.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like fun gameplay in terms of the traversal, the new stances, force abilities. My God, I love controlling the minds of enemies and turning them against each other. That's fucking awesome. Used it all the time. Upgraded the shit out of that. Love using the slow motion shit. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's
I barely used
it. So all the new stuff is great. But yeah, the back and forth, I was like, I'm not hooked by this story at all. I mean, Fallen Order kind of hooked you straight from the beginning because he was in hiding. They caught him. You're being hunted. You're kind of forced into this scenario of I need to do something now because there's no going back to what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
And this is like slowly, you had a team, the team all die. You just kind of go, oh, we better go check in on Grease to fix the ship. And oh, I just happened upon this. Like it's all like happening by accident. It's not the, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a real mission or anything. Takes a while to kick in. Takes a long time. A lot of back and forth. Messy narrative, I would say, up to a point. And then the fucking game gets amazing. I think it's better than Fallen Order. I
Yeah,
much preferred it by the end of it. I was like, give me the next one now. Oh my god, I wish this was like a Star Wars movie trilogy I could watch. Fuck
yeah.
yes. And I just wish they got there sooner.
Yes, the back and forth you see is really slows down the pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is two games in one. You have Uncharted is the first half of the game, and Star Wars is the second half of the game.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
The drama. And by God is there
Yes.
drama.
Oh my god.
And like we'll get there, right? But I want to say this because I put the controller down. It literally got me, right? My favorite line in the whole game. You're a monster. No, I'm a father.
Hmm.
Oh, is by the way, this Bo Kuna character is that Carlos Oliveira from Resident Evil 3?
No.
I thought it was the same voice actor.
No, it's the guy who plays your man from Horizon 2.
Who? Sam Witwer?
What?
Wait, no, who are you talking about? What guy
The
from
guy
Horizon 2?
right, so Bo Kuna,
Yeah.
right, is the same actor as that Tanocht warrior that joins you.
Kotalo!
Kotalo!
That no, because I was like, I know this fucking voice, and I was like, who is he? And I thought it was Carlos Oliveira.
No, because that's Fair Oded, I think is the name of that actor.
Okay. Well, look,
or Oded Fair, yeah.
Speaking on characters, right? Because I think we've said ourselves, there's a lot of back and forth with locations and stuff, and that's all just like the fun traversal and stuff. I think the game is really about characters more than anything else.
Yeah.
And I think the best way to talk about this game in terms of spoilers is to go character by character, because all of the best moments in the game are character shit. You know, because even the big set pieces are like moments with characters. So why don't we start with, I mean, our main guy, Cal Kestis.
Podcast, yeah.
You know, he's a bit older this time around, a little bit more rough around the edges. What do you think of Cal's kind of journey and development in this game?
So he in no way does he feel very disconnected from Cal in the first one, I find. He's still stumbling his way through, but he is doing it with much more precision, I suppose. Like he can handle himself a lot better in this one than he can in the other one, but he still has that charm to him, I suppose. He is kind of a somewhat charming guy, a much more determined guy as well. Very like Nathan Drake. Like he will get ahead of himself, that will get him to trouble, but then he gets himself out of it. The tagline to the game is "Embrace the Darkness," and I was throughout the game thinking,
oh, okay, I actually didn't know that.
That is the tagline to the game. So I was like, is Embrace the Darkness to do with Cal Kestis, or is it to do with everyone else? But the fact it's called Embrace the Darkness would suggest it's to do with Cal Kestis. And then again, because it's all that long back and forth, I was like, when is this happening? Is it a slow thing? Or maybe they're just referring to Dagon Gera. And then it gets to the point.
When he finally does.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I get, yes.
Feel so powerful. But also, as fun and as powerful as it is, you know, in that Imperial base just tearing down the enemies with the screen gone so red and everything, there is a sense of tragedy in it.
Oh, well, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, there's a real sense of like, oh, Cal, stop, you know? And even like at the end, when it's like, embrace the darkness in order to survive, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like they didn't bring it in early enough. I think there should have been more hints of it earlier.
Oh, yeah. It is. It's essentially that, like, the sort of, to quote the Killing Joke, all it takes is one bad day. So essentially, it's that one bad moment is what makes him kind of fall.
Yeah.
Because
tipping over the edge.
He loses his team at the start, but he doesn't seem that phased.
Yeah,
he's phased by it at the start, and then he's not for the rest.
They could have started hinting at it from even there.
Yeah, could have. Yeah,
just moments, like not that ability, because by the time that does come in, it feels like it's been earned at that point. But I just little hints of something, you know.
Yeah, just a little element of aggression, or, you know, like getting frustrated, getting angry, kind of a little bit losing it, and then having some character like Seer
Calm down.
calm him down, pull him back. You know what I mean? To get that mentor apprentice sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
again. It would have been nice.
And I do think that there's going to be a dark side skill tree in the third game.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
It's nice that he can.
He's going to be struggling with it.
Yeah, by the end of this, you can tap into it freely without it truly affecting you. But I can see that going to affect him more.
Yeah, well, he's clearly, like, by the ending, you can even see, like, I mean, they do this effect where he's at the funeral and he's just staring and everyone else is moving quickly and he's still staring. He is clearly traumatized by the experience of what happened. Good old BD1.
I mean,
what else
BD1.
can I say? I love BD1.
Very handy droid.
Yeah.
Super handy droid.
How does Star Wars keep coming up with great droid sidekicks?
I don't know, but they always seem to kind of be far more endearing and interesting than a lot of the other characters that you meet.
Yeah, and they help add a bit of lightness and levity. You know? Like R2D2 is awesome. BB-8 was one of the best things about the Disney trilogy. Nobody was.
Yeah, you know, he was.
And I love BD1.
BD1, yeah, very cute, but yeah.
And super useful. In not just this time, like not just scanning things, but and giving you your health, obviously, but there was actually like puzzles and stuff where you use BD1. And now you can hack droids at BD1.
Were you able to do that in the other one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Maybe but you could, and I sound like an idiot.
You have a far greater roster anyway of hacking droids.
Yes, definitely.
From the Imperial Sentinel style droids to the droidicas, the B1s and B2 battle droids.
How fun was it to see the
oh, it was great.
You know, the prequel era droids back.
It's okay because the little back and forth with the droids is really nice.
Yeah, and I like it. Makes sense to me that there's these raiders who have just reprogrammed old separatist droids that were shut down. Yeah, to reuse them in that way. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, and I think they are in Rebels as well. I think again, Commander Rex, old Commander Rex, and any of the other clones that survived, again reprogrammed B1 droids.
Oh, cool.
To help protect them on Tatooine. So yeah, it's still fitting within that kind of world that Dave Filoni has established.
Yeah. And as to me, it works better having the raiders as enemies, for like the melee combat scenarios, because they would just pick up and make weapons out of whatever they find. Why there's so many Imperial guys with stun buttons, I have no idea. Oh yeah, I like it's obviously it's just for gameplay, but I'm like in reality, like you just watch the movies, every fucking stormtrooper goes with a blaster. That's
yeah, they had
very few of them.
They had handguns. They actually show it in the 6th one when they were first introduced. They have handguns. So yeah.
So, just a bit strange.
But yeah, it's gameplay mechanic is what that is. It's like also when they go up with the shield, and somehow the shield is capable of deflecting your lightsaber.
Sure. All right. We'll just go with it. Why not?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay, so then I suppose you've been separated from your old school party. I'm going to couple all these guys together for a moment, right? Because there might be less to say about some than others, but eventually you're reunited with Grease, Merrin, and Seer Junda.
Seer. Yeah.
I love these characters, and I think I like them even more in this one.
Oh, absolutely, because Merrin is way more like built upon. Because really, for Fallen Order, she was introduced in the end, and that was sort of it.
In terms of being a party member.
Yeah, she was kind of just in the last act, and that was sort of it. Like, you're like, okay, fair enough. But this one, yeah, she's way more and has way more character and has way more likable traits. Her back and forth with Grease. Grease is kind of old man. Now I'm getting too old for this shit sort of attitude. Yeah. It's just lovely. And he owns like the saloon. It's just,
staying on Merrin for a second.
Okay.
I love that she's called the Desert Ghost. And that she's like this assassin and the Imperials are afraid of her, right?
Yeah, she's like, she's I suppose Wonder Woman or something like that, or Black Widow from like the comics. Like, you know, she's this vigilante character.
Yeah.
Righting wrongs in the deserts of Jeddah.
Part of me wishes I like her story. A part of me wishes she wasn't with Seer. That this was that she's on some other planet. That they all went off and did their separate things, and you're bringing them back together before the
Mm.
great big trauma, which is like this game's Empire Strikes Back moment,
Yes.
But and the fucking teleportation warping sequence
So
with the
good.
big drill that's like the set pieces in this game are so it's like it's such a shame that there are performance issues,
Right.
right?
Mm.
Kind of and pacing issues earlier on. Those are the things
Yeah.
holding this game back. Because when it's good, it's really good. And that
Yeah.
whole warping thing, I was like, wow, and just like jumping on the thing and cutting it and then warping again, and the
But it
fact that
was
that was all playable.
yeah, that reminded me of essentially Star Wars and Mass Effect slapped together.
Yeah, and I got like a little bit of Final Fantasy 15.
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
That's
big moments of big summons type thing.
yes, that was a very cool sequence. I was like, holy fuck! Ah! And then you just like jump out, and then you got to jump and go into the next one, and then yeah, you are slicing your way through it. Oh, it
So
was very
cool.
cool.
And I mean, like, I just even loved going around Jeddah with Merrin, taking out
Mm.
stormtroopers on the way. I was
She
like,
was
this is
very
so
helpful.
cool, and doing like double takedowns on enemies and stuff like
Mm.
that. Grease is great. He's
Yeah.
funny. He's your kind of beat up old, yeah, like you said, too old for this shit. I like that he set up a little saloon. It seems perfect for his character.
Yeah. Then he takes
Um,
on. I like his new design actually. They kind of like added like all this hair that he plaited and stuff like that, and he has this gold. He has now a robotic arm,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
never really explain how he got it, which is nice.
it's
But it's just
interesting.
that he got it, and then that's when he kind of left because
Yeah,
he's got some injury. And yeah, I really like again his character. I like him and Merrin's their sort of back and forth because Merrin seems to have very sarcastic humor, but also dry witted humor, and Grease is not able to tell
yes,
whether
yeah,
she's serious. Like the fact that she scares him, it's great. This like old guy with a really soft heart. He's the cook and the cleaner and stuff. He looks
yeah.
after everybody. He's just such a nice
Greasy
character.
does it, baby. Is that what he says?
Yes, that is one thing.
I love it.
Crazy does it.
I love it. And then of course we've got Seer Junda.
Yeah.
And my god. Not only do I love her redesign,
Mm.
I think she looks amazing.
Yeah.
She's such a badass character and wise and just
She's
so Jedi
she's
like.
she's the oracle from the Matrix of this game, like is what she
Yeah.
is.
And the moment I remember like from Fallen Order, right? The hype moment of when you finally build your own lightsaber and you get
Mm.
to have that moment where you take it apart for the first time and just whooping enemies and you're like, I feel powerful.
Mm.
And this game does a couple more of those kind of moments. But playing as fucking Seer after Cal had been taken down, and like I didn't see this coming at all. I had no idea we were going to play a Seer.
No.
And she is a badass. And you feel like a real powerful Jedi. Playing a Seer taking on all the stormtroopers was so fucking cool.
Mm.
And then, of course, she fights Vader.
Of course.
Of course, she fights Vader. Who else would fight Lord Vader? It would be stupid if Cal Kestis fought Vader and Vader what just lets him go, or Cal beats Vader. No, that wouldn't work, right? I'd be tearing that narrative apart. I'd be going, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And then similarly here, it's like, well, Seer can't. She gets pretty close. It's a good fight, but she can't defeat Vader and just run away. Then, right? That would be
Right.
stupid because it'd be like, well, why didn't she finish him off? And how did she best him? He's unbelievable, But also, she can't just get away. It's Vader. And her fucking death. It got me.
That's very good. I did die twice in that sequence.
Oh, I dropped the difficulty. I was like, I need to just see this play out. He's tough.
He's tough. I died twice, and that's where that sort of Soulsborne
I know
thing ruins it because you're jumping back into the arena with Darth Vader. It's like this kind of takes me out of the sequence, but that sequence is so good. Playing as Seer, watching the temple be destroyed, seeing the might of the Empire. Because honestly, in Fallen Order and, well, pretty much every Star Wars product, stormtroopers drop like flies. They can't shoot anything. And then you're seeing, oh no, it's the might of them. They're like the Imperial Guard of Warhammer 40k. They're
Mm-hmm.
not actually strong. There's just so many of them.
Yeah.
You have so many artillery, and it's when they drop in the Space Marine, aka Darth fucking Vader. That's when everyone is fucked because he comes in and he's going easy on you first, and then when he
Yeah.
sees that you're, oh no, actually this Jedi can handle herself, then he grabs it with two hands, and you're like, oh, fucked. I was dead 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
what happened?
And that was one of the fights where I wasn't even angry that he killed me. I was like,
Oh yeah,
well, of course.
yeah,
It's Lord Vader.
yeah. And it's just every time you try to use a force, he just blocks it. He just gets rid of it. He just
He's
walks towards you. He's
unbelievable.
like, look, why is it in nearly everything except for the movies he's really powerful?
No, he's powerful in the movies too.
He is, but they don't. It's a pity that they don't really get the show, but he is very powerful.
Yeah.
He's ridiculously powerful.
But the imagery as well of that scene of like being surrounded by the fire and everything as well was so cool. And I love the way she jumped at him. He was struggling to breathe at that moment, but he just got her.
Yeah.
And then he just walks away.
Yeah, just
And
leaves her to it.
that moment where Cal finds her, there's ashes everywhere. But you realize he's not there in that moment. Time has passed. And maybe it's like a Force Echo thing or something.
I thought it was a Force thingy.
Yeah,
I thought it was that, like a almost like the Force dyad thing, but only making more sense.
Right.
So it's like he's in one place, she's in another, but they are seeing each other and communicating with each other through the Force.
Oh no, I didn't get that. I got that he found her much later, but through the Force saw how she died.
Oh, I mean, maybe, yeah, absolutely.
Do you know from like the Force Echoes thing they does, where he gets a sense of
what happened,
the past from it. But yeah, I thought he was definitely actually there, but just not at that exact moment when she died, because she falls back and he just catches her. So it's like, no, he didn't just show up and see Vader and just not do anything about it. But job, and then I suppose a character connected to Sir Jonda, Endo Cordova.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was dead. What?
So did I. Yeah, I came in the game.
Where did he come from?
I thought Cordova died.
Yeah.
What? Okay. You haven't aged at all.
Yeah. I'm not crazy on how he was killed.
Well, he gets shot by Bode. That's when you find out Bode is the traitor, is he shoots Cordova and then runs away.
Yeah, but I think... Right. So, we gotta talk about Bode. Right. The moment that you're talking to Bode and Bode is saying, maybe we should go to Tanalorr first, right? Check it out. You already know. I'm like, this guy's sus. This guy's sus as fuck. This guy's
honestly, for me, he was sus when he saved me on Coruscant.
right. You're like, yeah, there's something not right about this guy, right? And then he said, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed early. I actually thought you'd wake up and he's already gone with it. And maybe when you go looking, and then you might find someone dead. And when you do your Force Echo thing, you'll realize that they tried to stop Bode, and Bode said, please don't make me do this, or something like that. And so I don't know why he waited around and then tried to take it in front of everyone, and then shot Endo Cordova in front of everyone. It's like he totally blew his own cover, and he didn't have to. He could have been more subtle about it, like in the scurry of the Empire being there, like, oh shit, and then like take it when no one's looking, kind of thing. And
but was it not part of the plan? Was that by him doing that and the Empire coming, it makes Cal Kestis so pissed off that he will hunt Bode down to that fortress, and then
I don't think necessarily. I think that's an afterthought.
Okay.
I think he's like, right, Cal is going to come, so I better think about what I'm going to do here.
Yeah. No, yeah, actually, now that you pointed out, it is a bit sort of silly.
I like the betrayal. I'm not crazy on the exact way it's done. And part of me would love, and I remember saying this to you actually, but it was off podcast. Part of me would love if Bode Akuna was not force sensitive.
Same.
And I
Yeah,
know
same.
other people probably love that, but when he did that, I was like, oh, come on. What? Okay, so
Uh,
he was in that room with whatever about Cal being blind to sensing it, right? Seer Junda, Endo Cordova, none of them sensed that Akuna had the force.
No, apparently
Like
not.
he was with them the whole time, and now maybe he had that thing of like when the council couldn't sense Darth Sidious during the prequels because he was using the dark side to kind of cloud their vision and stuff.
Hmm.
Maybe Akuna was doing that, but it's not explained.
But
So
they also I do believe that Yoda in the prequel does mention the dark side is clouding our vision. So they are aware that the dark side is capable of doing that and that their vision is being clouded.
yeah,
So yeah, they don't really make a comment on that. The only other thing is that probably doesn't really make sense either. But like Jedi are able to cut themselves off from the Force
yeah,
and
yeah.
sort of bring it back again. So maybe Bo did that, and that's how they weren't able
Because
to
Seer
sense it.
Seer did that in the first one, right?
Yeah, she cut herself off from Force, and Cal Kestis did in the first one. He cut himself off from Force.
And he had to relearn.
You have to relearn. So there could be
Mm.
that as sort of element. I don't really
Yeah,
know,
maybe.
but my jaw did drop when he did it. I was like, and then he took out
Right.
the red lightsaber. I went, oh, I was expecting a blue one.
I had that too. Turns out that's not his lightsaber.
Oh,
It's Dagon's.
oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
he picked it up. Yeah, so
Okay,
he's
all
using
right.
Dagon Gear's lightsaber. Now, I don't like that Dagon's lightsaber instantly turned red to show that
No,
he turned to the dark side. I was like, it's perfectly fine for like. I always found something so disturbing about in Revenge of the Sith, Anakin killing innocent Jedi with a blue lightsaber.
mm,
Blue being like the pure color, the OG lightsaber, the good guy color.
yeah,
It doing evil things to evil music is disturbing, is more disturbing than a red lightsaber doing it. And then
yeah,
seeing the two blue lightsabers fight against each other at the very end of that movie, there's something tragic about it, right?
yeah,
Whereas, because our brains are like computed at this point to be like red is bad, blue is good.
mm,
This is too blue, and it's like, no, what are you doing? That's a Jedi. You should be a Jedi. So to me, I would have liked if because Dagon isn't a Sith, and to me, red is. I know it's dark side, but to me, it's Sith.
Well, you're
I
for
know.
lack of a
I
better
get.
term from the description, you're bleeding the crystal into the dark side, but it is
Yeah, yeah.
there's an element of surely you have to somewhat acknowledge that you're embracing the darkness to do that.
Hmm.
While I thought it'd be cooler if Dagon with the yellow lightsaber didn't really think he was doing anything bad or dark. What he was doing was for the betterment, and thus then it wasn't red.
Yeah.
Or what they should have done, which I thought would have been way better. First, you fight him 3 times. First time you fight him, it's yellow. Second time, maybe like a darker yellow. So I suppose a bit more orangey. But I know this is actually
I
not
get.
how it works.
I get
But
what you're saying,
that
but like
yeah,
over time, you can see that it's turning or changing.
yeah, it's going. And then the last time it's red.
Yeah, my only issue with it is it's just so instantaneous. The moment he
It's
wakes up, he takes out his lightsaber, turns it red, turns it back on, and fights it.
yeah,
It's so instantaneous. It's like there's no time to breathe. Like, and it's like, whoa, slow down. You just woke up.
yeah. He just woke up.
um,
This guy just helped him, and then it's just like, oh, I'm going to just show you I'm the bad guy. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
could have
So that stuff aside, like on a personal level, I wish Bode wasn't force sensitive. People would
mm,
probably go, well, how could you have a boss fight then? I think they could find a way. Some of the bounty hunters were pretty difficult, so I
yeah.
think they could find a way for him to put up a good fight. But that aside, I love that this is where this game went. I wanted him to betray me, and I wanted him to be the final fight. I got to a point where I was like, Bode is a way more interesting villain than Dagon.
Mm,
Way
yeah.
more interesting because it's not even really evil,
No.
but then he kind of is, right? Like it's way grayer.
Well,
Than...
it's the Joel thing, isn't it? The
No,
doing any
it's not. Don't you
it's
even dare.
it's the doing anything to protect the one you love. which no matter
Yeah.
how cruel your actions are, you would see it as being right. So actually, another character you can liken it to is Liam Neeson's character in Taken. We
Sure.
would
Sure.
perceive him as the protagonist because he's fighting an even greater threat, but he does shoot a wife in the shoulder who
Yeah.
had nothing to do with the kidnapping,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is quite a cruel act, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so he has been pushed to the brink. So he is a way more interesting character that you can do case studies with someone like Bode Kuna, not really with Dagon.
And that final fight,
Pretty good fight. Again, I died at that fight, so it's a bit silly when you have to.
not even just the gameplay, the cutscene, the choreography of the fight, of him choking Cal out and using his force on, and like them trying to get out of the hold, and
Hmm.
fucking amazing,
Yeah.
so good. And part of me wishes that how Cal finished him off was Zod style, broke his neck, like you know, and then let out a roar or something. One thing that would have added to the drama for me is if Kata, his daughter, like ran over crying, saying, "Dad, please stop," and he like pushed her away and everything during it. You know, just a moment because she seems real pally with you afterwards, and it's a little bit weird because it's like, I don't know you, and
Yeah.
you killed my dad, and I get that my dad, I was uncomfortable with what he was doing, but I also still don't know you, and you did kill my dad.
Yeah,
So
but
I kind of
Marin
wish
is
she
really
was.
pretty, so it's okay.
Yeah, I know. Kata is surely force sensitive, right?
I don't know. I just know you. I don't know. They don't say.
Well, let's put it here in the podcast then. You ready?
Okay.
Kata is force sensitive. Third game, she is Cal's apprentice, and you will play as her.
Oh, it's many years later.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. You know what my
Where
problem
I see this going?
with all these force sensitive people being around?
What's that?
Really, really not paying attention to the fucking episode 4, are they?
What do you mean?
In episode 4, there's no force sensitive people around, and then all of a sudden, there's fucking everywhere. There's hundreds of them. It's like,
Well,
where are they all?
They don't
Fucking dirt.
necessarily say that though. They don't say there's none around.
Well, they do imply throughout the trilogy, the original trilogy, that
It
there
is implied.
it is implied. Because otherwise, where are they?
Well, they're often Tanalore. Well, I mean, I don't see this story having a happy ending.
No, which I am happy about that. I am happy that this doesn't
Mm.
look like it's going to end the way we think. If
Yeah.
anything, its Cal Kestis is probably going to become fall to the dark side. And if you are playing as Kata, if Kata is older enough to use and is force sensitive using the lightsaber, you'd have to play as Kata, killing him. Or they'll do something even more tragic, and you have to play as Merrin, having to kill the person that she loves.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's the thing I would do. I would do that.
Do that, please.
Do that.
But yeah, I think as well, the tension I felt on Nova Garen when Cal is talking to Kata and
Yeah.
Bode walks in and he's just like packing her bags, and there's just like a moment of someone make the first move, and she's like, "Who's that, Dad?" And he's like, "He's my best friend."
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it's like, oh my god, I loved it. I was so sucked in at that point. I was like, man, I wish this was more of the game.
Yeah, it's the compass pit just takes up so much time.
It really does, because all the Jeddah stuff onwards, the Jeddah invasion onwards, is phenomenal.
Really good story, really good character development. So they like really only needed the two compass pieces, one on Kobo, one on Shattered Moon. Deal with that, then killing Dagon Gera. They really could have tightened that up, because from both betraying it's awesome.
Because were you convinced when you were fighting Dagon Gera that third time? On top of that observatory, which by the way, that observatory is awesome.
Oh, that is a really cool point. There are points in the earlier part of the game, just to let people know, that are cool. They're awesome.
Oh
right?
yeah.
This is again, it's one of the best Star Wars games we've had in a while.
Yeah.
That's probably because it's one of the only original Star Wars games we've had in a while.
Right. But were you convinced that this was the end of the game?
I think I said that to you one time. I was like, there's a bit at the end of the game that's not actually the end of the game. And that was it. I thought I was like, oh, I am getting up to the end of the game. It's a little kind of anticlimactic, but okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I thought, right, obviously we're going to get the Tanalorr, and somehow the Empire's going to get the Tanalorr, and we're going to have to fight Darth Vader at the end. So
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well,
it's
that
kind
was my. I was like if only when I got. I didn't think it was the end
of,
until I got to Dagon. I was like, I didn't expect him to be here. So I was like,
mm,
wait, I'm fighting him again? Like, they're not going to have me fight him a fourth time
mm,
after this. So I was like, this doesn't feel like the final fight of the game. Like, it doesn't feel like we were ready for this is the end of the game. Like, it didn't
mm.
set it up that way. There was no like dialogue that kind of suggested this is the point of no return. Do any errands you want to do and stuff like that. So I was like, I don't know, this can't be it. And yes, you're right, anticlimactic. So soon it was over. I was like, well, it's not over. Obviously,
Mm.
something's not right. And I do like that they're on the ship on the way to Jeddah, and Cal goes, I feel weird. Something feels wrong. So he's already in that moment sensing. And did you go, like, afterwards, when you've finished the main story, you go back to other spots to start finding now Force Echoes
Of Bode? Yeah,
of throughout the game, Bode contacting the Empire
yeah. Mm.
and even, like, the thing with Merrin, when he's like, he seems to like Merrin. Maybe I should push him towards her.
Yeah,
Love is a good weakness and stuff like that.
yeah,
And
I got that one. Yeah, it's
I
good.
was like, that's really cool.
Did you go back to Tanalorr and go to the spot where you find Kata?
No, I haven't yet.
Right. C- Her and Bode sing that song, that lullaby.
It's a
It's
really cool lullaby.
it's amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
They've sing the whole thing as well, so it goes on for a while as you run around Tanalorr. And it's like there, it's a creepiness, a hopefulness, and it's a beautifully well written song.
I like the design of Tanalorr as well as a planet.
Mm.
I think it's really cool. It kind of fits right in with like
It kind of reminds me of
weird
one of
Star
like
Wars planets.
it reminds me actually of one of the 9 worlds from like God of War.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
I
Um,
think there is an element of inspiration from God of War with doing this game. That's
yeah,
probably why the back and forth is there so often, because in 2018 God of War, the amount of times you go back to
there was a lot of that.
Midgard and
Yeah,
then we go to Helheim and back to Midgard and go to Alfheim and then back to Midgard. And it's just like, Jesus.
yeah, there
Like
was a lot of that for sure.
there's there's 9 other worlds here, guys. Come on.
There's a lot of side characters and new characters and stuff in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of Bode, who was fucking awesome, and I'm so glad that that's what they did with that character, and that he was the final conflict, and that it's tragic, and that he's just trying to protect Kata, and I love all
Mm.
that. Are there any other characters in particular that you wanted to talk about?
I like Scuva, but his stories go on for too long that I end up
Oh,
zoning out.
Scuba the fisherman.
Yeah, this weird little.
Love
I don't even know how to describe. I don't know what he looks like. A worm, a
I
worm
don't
with a
know what he
bushy
is.
mustache, with arms and legs, and he is in like a diving suit, and he has a little tiny skiff, sort of skiff type boat,
And you
and you
find him
always
in
find
the most random of spots.
the most random of water spots
I
wherever
found
there's
him
water.
in a pool on Jeddah. I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did you come to a desert planet thinking you'll definitely find fish here? Like, this was a 1 in a million chance. But you know what? He's a great fisherman. He found it.
Yeah, he gets the fish and then he tells you a story, and I zone out, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But anyway, but I did think he was an interesting character. This little tiny guy that was like the greatest fisherman in the known sector.
Yeah, it's a weird, quirky one, but there's characters like that just had a bit of like I mentioned him. I like Turgle. He's so stupid looking, but he actually gets himself. He's a fucker, like he like trying to sell scrap to people and then getting himself in trouble where they'll kill him over it. And
Yeah, well, he's almost like that. He's the village idiot, in that kind of Western movies.
yes, yeah,
Yeah. He's that
like,
kind of character.
Please, Cal, I owe people a lot of money, and yeah, definitely.
I liked Toa.
Toa's cool.
And I liked Marin. Is that his name?
Yeah, he's the same species as Thrawn, right?
I think so. Yes,
yeah, that's what he
very
looks like.
similar. I just loved his. He actually has a development as a character throughout the game that I really like.
The more you talk to him, yeah.
The more you talk to him, the more he like kind of starts to warm up to you, and he likes you, and you actually see that he is a decent, nice person.
Well, I got a real and this is something I did like about the game, and whatever about the back and forth in general, I liked that kind of Mass Effect feeling
Mm,
of coming back and talking to, like, every so often I would go back to the saloon just to check in with all the characters to see what's the new dialogue.
yeah.
And I love that. I love getting into that flow of like, oh, I'm going to check in on such and such, or I'm going to go back to Doma's shop and talk to Doma, and she's awesome too.
Oh, actually,
Um,
I don't really ever talk to her. I don't know why. I just never really talked to her.
I like her. She's like a wise kind of
Mm,
sage woman. And I remember when I first got to Pyloon Saloon, the first character I went over to approach after talking to Grease and Monk. Good old Monk.
Oh, I love Monk. Monk's
Monk
so
is great.
good.
Was Cage.
Mm,
I
yeah.
saw her sitting there in the corner with the hat and everything and the boots up. And I was like, well, this looks like a cool character. And she didn't want anything to do with me. And I was like, I'm going to keep checking on her. I bet you she's something.
Yeah.
Then, of course, later on, and she finally takes an interest in you, and the whole bounty hunter mission thing opens up. If someone has played the game and has not done all the bounty hunts, do the bounty hunts.
Do the
They
bounty
are
hunts.
well worthwhile. Not
Oh,
because
yeah.
like they're now my one criticism is I don't think the bounty hunters are varied enough.
No.
You
No,
get
I think
I
each
would have liked it if it was like, even if there was less of them, I would have liked if each one was unique.
each one should have been almost its own race with its own kind of weapon.
Yeah, like I don't like that there's like basically guys with guns and shields repeated,
Yeah.
guys with jetpacks repeated, and droids repeated.
And then
Basically,
the one with the two guns. And that's it. It's four types of
yeah.
that's it.
So I would have liked more variety there. I knew what she was at, right?
Oh yeah,
Of
absolutely.
course, but there was a nice other surprise.
Oh, that was great. That was another jaw drop moment. I was like, oh god. And they got the
Awesome.
actor back. They got the
Yeah,
actor back to play him, and I was like, ah, so good.
but as well, just the way that the little Western style cutscene was done at the end there,
Mm.
you know. And there are two kinds of people in this galaxy: those with thermal bombs and those who don't. You know, it's like, this is, and Callus is standing there like, "What the fuck is going on?" You know.
Oh,
I
it's
thought that was brilliant, and I
yeah.
love that she was one of the same race as Kit Fisto. We don't see many characters of that race in
No, but
Star
she's
Wars.
actually. I remember at the very start, you're on Coruscant and you're trying to. That's a bit of a long or starting mission, actually. I found.
Yeah, because I thought it was going to kick into the main mission, like whatever they find on the senator's ship would be important,
Mm,
and it's not at all. None of
no,
that mattered to the story at all, so
not
it
at
was
all.
weird.
But there's a bit where there's billboards, and one picture has Cal Kestis, and the other one has Cage. And I remember seeing that going.
Oh shit!
Somehow that picture stood out to me. So I was like, so that character's going to be important. And then I saw Cage, and I was like, there she is. That's
That's
awesome.
excellent. I didn't notice that, and I would actually like to do a New Game Plus replay of the story,
Yeah.
because I actually, that's when I was playing it the first time.
Mm.
There was a point where I was like, um, when I finish this, I'll probably never play it again. Like when I've done everything, I don't see myself playing this again. This was a certain point now. This was like
Mm.
the compass shit and all this stuff where I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm enjoying this, but I think when I'm done it, I'll be done it.
Mm.
But when all the good shit happened, and by the end of it, I was like, I want to play that again. Like I want that kind of Uncharted Star Wars adventure shit again. That was
Mm.
so fucking good.
Well, yeah. See, I did think the same as well because I was like, can't wait
Okay.
to play this again, and like I knew as well. It's like, right, you're going to get the red lightsaber. That's going to be a new lightsaber color to have,
Yeah.
and then there's probably going to be extra stuff, which I think there is. But I think I played it when I cleared it. I started playing at like 4 o'clock in the day and didn't finish up because I cleared the game and did all the bounty hunter stuff as well as doing collectibles.
Wow.
Like,
Fuck. That's a
so
lot.
I was finished by like 1 o'clock in the morning.
You gotta
So
pace yourself. That's crazy.
yeah, so I have not touched the game for this entire week.
Yeah, no, because you get game fatigue as well, right?
I got paid, but I think it was very much needed because it got me to do other things then. But I just didn't really want to put it down. I was like, I want to get all the collectibles, and I wanted to like. And once I started with the bounty hunter stuff, it's like I know I'm close to the end, so I don't
Yeah.
want to stop. I just want to get to the end of this.
And you get to a point where you go, I know there's gonna be something at the end of this,
yes,
and it's gonna be worthwhile.
Hmm.
And as well, I do think you do find yourself, as slow as the game is to start, when you get into a rhythm, it is actually fun to keep going, traversing, do the next thing, find another mission, do that.
Well, yeah, there is that thing where it's like, oh, I just got that new upgrade for BD1, which allows me to access new areas. So
So
it's
now
like,
let
so
me
I'll
go
just,
check them out.
yeah, I'm just gonna go pop up that cliff, and then before you know it, you're in a dungeon fighting a rancor, and you're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. My God, the Rancor is fucking awesome.
Yes, that was tough. That killed me a few times. I had to,
Oh God, yeah, that destroyed me.
yeah, my God, it's very tough.
Yeah. Of the new characters as well, I know we did kind of mention him briefly in terms of what race he is. I like Ravis. Thought he was cool.
Raves,
Thought he was
he's
scary.
he's a Gendai. They
His
live forever.
his fight was tough.
Oh, really? I fucked
I
him up.
I found his fight tough, but I'm not crazy about when he goes in the story. I didn't think it was natural. It's very go to this planet to fight to do the Ravis boss fight,
Yes.
and it doesn't
But
feel like the natural exit point for Ravis.
no, and I remember actually being there a little bit like, wait, why am I here again? Like I actually, and
Yeah,
even by the end of it, they don't really, they just kill Ravis and you go, ah, yes, let's go back to Goba now to get Dagon. And I was like, okay, but why did we come up here? Like, I don't activate anything, I don't do anything, I just kill Ravis and go back to the Mantis. Other than that, all Ravis told me was Dagon is on Kobo. I was like,
yep.
okay.
What
Right?
did you what did you think of the character Z? She's sort of like the
I can't wait to
C-3PO,
leave
right?
her at the shop, not listen to her talk.
Yeah. She's grand, right? Like she's okay,
Yeah,
but
she's
she,
the BD1 is the R2D2 and Z is the Z3PO.
but she's not even as entertaining as C-3PO, is she? Like, I kind of like her design. She's an old retro style like protocol
Mm,
droid. You could kind of tell that she is of a different era in Star
mm.
Wars, which I think is like there's a real subtle design to doing that because even the stuff in this era of Star Wars, there's a junk kind of aesthetic to things, and
And then High Republic has a real sleek design to
yeah.
everything.
But yeah, I mean, I think I think she's in the story a little too much. Where I'm like, she's not that likable a character, you know. Not as
uh,
much as the other characters, anyway.
yeah, no, she was very much just, I'm not really going to talk to you. I'm going to buy stuff from you,
Mm-hmm.
and I will deal with you when the story permits that I have to deal with you. But
Yes, yeah.
other than that, you stay right here. Well done.
Well
We'll
done,
put you
Z.
right here in this corner, right where everyone can see you.
Yeah, I don't really like that you stumble upon her by accident and that kicks off this journey.
Well, a lot of it is all kind of accident, isn't it?
Wouldn't it have been cool if when you were on that senator's ship, because as well the Empire do start looking as well later on, they start showing up. Wouldn't it be cool if on that Emperor ship or the senator ship, the thing that you find is that they have been looking for this lost planet Tanalor,
Mm.
and when you hear about it, you're like, oh, that could actually be like it gives you the idea of, and then you go to investigate more about it, and then you're spiraled into this adventure.
Yeah, they
Just
could
to
have.
connect the start, and also not to just be like, I fell down a hole and I found this droid, and you know,
Yeah, I
it's all
mean
by accident. Like,
they could, yeah, they could have linked things a bit better,
mm.
or at least maybe not straight away. I actually personally don't mind the stumbling upon it,
Oh, okay.
but yes, it does make the start and everyone's loss very pointless. Now, maybe that's what they were going for, because again, they were trying to convey the idea that Cal Kestis' journey of fighting the Empire was a pointless endeavor. So maybe that's why they did it,
Yeah.
and to convey that point, so that you have us saying, going, well, that was a random mission that had nothing to do with the overarching story. It's like, well, that was the point, and everyone died needlessly.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there could have been a better link to it or something. I don't,
Yeah.
where, like, I don't know, trying to find out where the Empire, yeah, maybe he is trying to find a safe haven for people. So where are the Empire not? Oh, well, they're not on Kobo. It's one of the planets he knows they're not on Kobo, so we know we'll go to Kobo when the ship is damaged. That's a safe place. Hopefully someone there can fix it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Grease is there actually. Awesome. That's convenient.
Why don't I check in with him?
Yeah, they haven't reached him yet. That's nice. But I'll let him know actually that the Empire are on their way. It's one of the targets. So they could have done it that way, and then he still stumbles upon the High Republic tech.
Sure, yeah, yeah.
I like the Jedi Chamber Trials, actually, just another
Yeah,
little
it's like
note.
it's a cool additional like
Mm.
temple style thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun to play that side of the game. The adventuring, the traversal, the puzzle solving. I enjoy all of
Well,
it.
it does actually have three of the franchises that we love. It has Star Wars because it's Star Wars. It has Uncharted, which we love, and it's
Yeah.
very Star Wars. And then, like you said, it has that Mass Effect style of going to other planets and introduce, like, getting to know all these other characters and stuff, which I
Yeah.
really like.
Yeah, and the
Like,
customization is fun.
oh my god, the customization for the lightsaber is class.
Yeah, I love it. It actually makes me want to find the little bits and pieces to customize my
Yes.
lightsaber to make it like unique to me,
Mm.
to my Cal and the way I have my Cal dressed. And every time I got a new costume, I try it on and go, nope, nope. I went to Doma, I bought the bandolier, and that was it for the game. Even towards the end, I was like, will I change now? Now that I'm going to Tanalor, will I change it up? No, I'm finishing this how I've been playing it pretty much the whole game. My ginger Nathan Drake Jedi.
I changed my outfits every time I was going to a new planet.
You were saying, yeah.
Yeah, and I changed the light. I had a particular lightsaber color for each planet, and then like I would kind of change the lightsaber design depending on what I was doing. So if I was hunting bounty hunters, I had a hunter design, and if I was doing something else, I'd change the design. But I didn't know. I only found out after I cleared the game. You know when you get the crossguard lightsaber?
Yeah, which is cool. Yeah, which is cool.
Oh, that was like you're talking about you use the mindy thing. I fucking fucked everyone up with the crossguard.
Right.
I always had just the normal lightsaber and the crossguard, but I didn't know that the actual guard part, you can adjust where that is.
Oh, that's sick.
I didn't know that. I was like, that is so cool. Like the level of customization in this game is nuts.
What's so your two stances were basically the crossguard and just regular?
Just regular, yeah.
Okay. I went for, by the time I had them all, I dual wield.
Okay.
Which I pretty much used all the time. I just love that. And a blaster.
Okay. Yeah,
Whenever I wanted a bit of distance, I liked swap between them. Yeah.
I think for when I went to the Imperial base, I had the blaster.
Cool, yeah.
And the crossguard. Because I found the crossguard was so handy for like
it's really strong, isn't it?
The big tough enemies, yeah. So the big Imperial chaps or big beasts, I just fuck everyone up with the crossguard, which is probably why I didn't find Ravis that hard because I just
because I didn't try that on him. Maybe that would have been a better tactic.
I kept swapping between that and the other one, so right. Sometimes I was really fast, and other times I was just absolutely swinging and cleaving through him.
So would it be like use the faster stance to break his stagger, and then he like just go hack into his health then with the crossguard?
No.
The best way to do it?
No, I think it was I was probably the other way around. Crossguard to break the stagger, and then the other one to kind of cut through him really quickly. But it depended on my mood. I might have been like, "Ooh, he's doing some fast attacks. I'll swap to the other one so I can dodge faster and get in and out faster." And then when he starts to slow down his attacks, I use the crossguard. But crossguard I found very helpful even for a lot of like the big tough monsters and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
What was the one I used the least? Double lightsaber. I didn't know how to use it.
I used the double lightsaber.
Oh, sorry, the dual wielding.
Oh, right. I use that all the time.
I didn't really know how to use it.
The double lightsaber I used early on in the game, in the earlier portion. But actually for a while I had the double and the two, because I kind of liked the way he transitioned.
Oh, okay.
To them, but then as soon as I got the blaster and I kind of enjoyed using that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick with using this now. What was your favorite of the planets to visit, or of the planets that are featured? I think we both agree we wish there was more. Yes. Not that we want other big massive maps that take forever to explore.
No.
But just other set pieces.
Like Coruscant and that rock and Tanalor. Like, you go into other places, but they could be small. It's fine. We don't need.
Yep. Like Kobo is big enough for all the exploration. That's fun. That's fun.
Jedda's quite big too.
But of the planets that are there, which one was your favorite?
Kobo was a bit annoying sometimes. I probably Kobo was the best for exploring because it was the biggest. I had a lot, but sometimes it got very annoying to explore with enemies and stuff. Probably Jeddah. I just think stopping and
Jeddah,
looking at the architecture of Jeddah was awesome.
100% Jeddah. All the best set pieces are on Jeddah.
The big statue of, I know it's not Kit Fisto, but pretty much Kit Fisto, just toppled, was awesome.
The statues look cool. Desert is always I always associate with Star Wars anyway.
Mm,
Starting with Tatooine and stuff. Jeddah being one of the planets that was introduced in Rogue One.
mm.
Um, as a really cool new area. Yeah, going through all the old temples, the hidden path base, and then the big fucking set pieces are incredible. And the even as part of the like betrayal and stuff, the bike chase.
Yeah. Using this, I remember I
So
found
good.
the speeder in the base and went,
Yeah, that'll
well,
come up
I'm going to
later.
use that later.
Yeah. And I loved when it goes slow mo when he throws the stormtrooper up and the TIE fighter comes at the same time and hits him. And I'm like, oh, like what
That
a
was,
ride.
yeah, that was
That's the
very
stuff
cool.
that I want to like replay. Like that's so good. Yeah, so definitely Jeddah being the favorite planet. So then what was the highlight of the game for you?
Oh, the highlight of the game for me.
If you just
Uh,
just repeat exactly what I said to you.
so
Is that a method of processing or is it like buying time? Is it like
well, both.
mm, oh, okay.
I'm buying time to process.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That was a stupid question. To
Uh,
be fair.
right. Okay. So the highlight is probably, oh, that's kind of like the favorite thing, but not. Uh,
It is the favorite thing. It is. It's a sneaky way
I,
of asking
I,
you, what was your
I
favorite part of the game?
the custom, I actually really like the customize, and the fact that the customizing was now broken down into your jacket, your shirt, your pants, your hair, your beard, and just being able to change. Because I actually changed the hair and beard every time I went to a new planet. I treated it like a day or
Okay.
two went by, so I'd actually have Cal Kestis' hair getting longer, 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 and his beard getting longer, longer.
Wow,
And to
okay,
the
okay.
point that I even like put it into a bun and had like a big. I think I actually had it in the bun and big beard by the end of the game.
Cool. Cool,
Like
nice,
fighting
yes.
and stuff, and then I'd like get it cut real short and have them clean shaved, and then have the whole progression thing again. So I really liked just changing Cal Kestis' look a lot of the time, but then on a set piece moment, it is kind of the Seer invasion of Jeddah.
The whole Jedi betrayal.
Yeah, that is a pretty awesome
Highlighted
sequence.
the game from the drama of it, the feeling even before it that you're like something is wrong and something is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
The I believed Bode when he was like, "Why don't we just go first, just you and me?" I don't think that was I'm gonna kill Cal when I get him on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I actually believe that he was like trying to avoid, like at this point he was like, "I see an exit to get away from the Empire.
Yeah.
If I just take Kata, we go to Tanalor. Happy days. Just stay there. I've escaped. I'm no longer their spy. They have no clutch or control over me, and she's safe.
Hmm.
Job done." So I believed him, and then it was like, I believe that he was like, "Fuck! Like, why are you bringing the hidden path here? You're, God, now I have to do this." I kind of believe that he didn't want to do it,
Mm.
but he got to a point where he was like, "Well, I'll do anything for my daughter." So,
Yeah.
and as far as I see it, if the hidden path, they're hunting the hidden path.
Yeah.
They're not hunting my daughter.
No.
So wherever the hidden path go, and if we can find a way there, the Empire will. So I don't want the hidden path going to where I think I could be safe. So yeah, just that whole betrayal, the drama of it, the playing a seer, fighting Vader, and then the aftermath, the sadness that everyone felt, the characters, and the hunt for Bode then, and
Mm.
just amazing. I think for me, this game is quite similar to A Plague Tale Requiem from last year. Where I'm
Right.
like, the gameplay does have additions, is better looking than the first game. The hook isn't there though. It's fine. It's okay. It's grand. And then you have your final act and you go, wow.
But yeah,
and, that,
where was that?
and that's the thought you're left with though. You're
Mm.
left on this big buzz, but you have to kind of commit and get there. And I could
Yes.
see some gamers early on going, nah. and you'd be like, no, please keep going.
Yeah, because essentially, actually, that's a fantastic comparison. Because Kobo and Dagengera is Provence and your man.
Right. Just
It
like
it is very much,
throwaway villain.
yeah. Might as
Yeah.
well said, I am the reason the Jedi fell and Sith came back. Like, just this really throwaway. Like, we're like, no one even asked. No one even suspected that. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
But I like his race. I like Dagger's race.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Dangera. I think he's fine. He's kind of an interesting character, but I I understand as well his role in the story, which is to be a villain.
To be a distraction, really.
Right. Yeah.
He's a he's a diversion.
A diversion. But like, because you have to be fighting someone to have your eye off of. Now I know our eye wasn't off of it, but I didn't mind that either. I wanted it to happen. I was like,
Mm.
please betray me, but betray me so bad.
War dog.
But the intention, obviously, of the story is if there was no villain, then you would start suspecting someone.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
needed a villain who seems like a real bad villain, who's like a real, I am the boss, and this is my henchman, and this is the way a scripted game goes, and you have to take us on, and when you kill us, you've won. You've defeated the bad guy. Um, a little bit muddled on. I don't even know why it was so bad for Dagangira to get to Tanalor. I don't, like why we had to. I know we were trying to get there first, and he would have stopped us getting there, but I don't know what was so like. Even back in the day, why the High Republic were trying to stop him from getting to Tanalor and stuff. I didn't really get that.
The High Republic kind of gave up on the project because they got attacked by raiders. And so when they fled Tanalor, Dagon was trying to go back, and they were a bit like, it's a bit of a lost cause. It's a bit too dangerous. Having to try to go through that thing where people could die. And Dagon then decided, well, I'm going to kill yous
Mm-hmm.
so that I can get back there because you're robbing this from me, which is the equivalent of if people told Anakin, oh, yeah, no, we're actually going to lock Padme away. You can never see her again. He's going to fucking lose and kill everybody.
Right, okay.
So then they locked him away. And I suppose for Cal, again, that's the problem with the whole, like, I have a red lightsaber so that Cal can see I'm a villain. But then as the story progressed, he was planning on going there, bringing lots of people to Tanor, building an army.
Oh, right, yeah, I remember that.
And then
actually, yeah.
and then going to invade and pretty much take down the Empire and create his own empire.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, evil villain 101. Again,
Yeah.
it's fine. Bode's whole thing is way more interesting.
Oh, it's way more human.
I will betray everyone and lead to hundreds of deaths to save my daughter.
Mm.
Brilliant. And just a part of me just wishes, because it'd be even more human if he wasn't a Jedi. But his daughter is Force sensitive. And he's just trying to find a way to protect her from the Empire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they
Me, that
could,
would
like,
just be
because they
mwah.
could have given him, like, a Beskar spear or something.
Oh yeah, he could still have like a melee fight, and then
Yeah.
all the bombs and stuff, and shooting and using the jetpack, so he's hard to kind of hit. And oh, they definitely could have worked that fight around a non-Force user. I just feel like with him having the Force, I get it. It's a mirror. He's a parallel. Jedi Survivor also means him
Mm.
and what he's had to do to survive. But for me, it's hard to believe that Seer and Cordova could not sense that he was a Force
Well,
user.
for me, the biggest issue is, again, it's coming from the original where we are let, while they don't say it, just from the visuals and the way the story unfolds in the original trilogy, there isn't really any Force sensitive people. And the fact that when we look at the prequel trilogy, Anakin brings balance to the Force by having 2 Sith and the 2 Jedi.
Hold on a second. That's not what that means. That's not true.
No, but that's impossible.
Search your feeling. No, there's loads of Jedi left after that incident.
No.
There is.
Nah.
It's canon. In George Lucas's, I mean, George Lucas greenlit Star Wars Rebels and all before he was gone and everything, and there's Force users in that. And he was very well involved with like the whole Star Killer thing and stuff from Force Unleashed, and there was no. Balancing the force does not mean that there's equally two
No,
people.
but okay, all right,
Come
whatever.
on.
But there was like it was that sort of visual communication that that the force has been
Sure.
balanced, right? Yeah,
Right.
sure, there wasn't because they do actually say in episode 3 that the rest have gone into hiding. I do believe they say that at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah, they put the message out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it is that visual representation. So I suppose in my problem with Bode being a force user, the Inquisitors being force user, Cal Kestis, Ezra Bridger,
Sure.
Kanan, Ahsoka, Grogu. Yeah, it just gets to a point where like, did they kill anyone? Like I know they killed everyone, but did they kill anyone? Like, or did they just set their guns to stun and they all got up and then went their separate ways or something? Like,
There's a lot of force users.
yeah, there's a lot of force users, and it's a bit like, okay, so yes, if Bode was using very human tactics to take on a Jedi, I think that would have been way more interesting. Like using a Beskar spear, like
Yeah,
he could have been Mandalorian, so you could have actually had at the end of it
absolutely.
Mandalorian armor. They killed hundreds of Jedi's. Well, I don't know if hundreds, but they killed a lot of Jedi's in the Mandalorian War. So
100%. And the jetpack might have been the hint that he was
yeah,
Mandalorian. Yeah, I just think it would have made him a more compelling villain. The force thing to me just seems like, because like his whole goal is to protect his daughter. So to me, it doesn't matter that he was a Jedi and made a deal with the Empire type thing or anything like that. It's, to me, it just seems like that's just for a boss fight.
yes,
And to me, it's like there are other boss fights in this game that aren't force users and they're also tough. And it's a game and it's fine and you can do that. So, but that's all. But generally speaking, I love this character. And
yeah,
there's a real tragedy in the end after you've killed him. And I love that Cal actually got to put, like, he really wanted to kill him, and then Marin basically talked him out of it nearly. And he got to a point where he was like, I'm gonna try and ask Bode to surrender. And Bode not being willing to surrender is what got him killed. He could have just given up, but he wouldn't, man. He just wouldn't. Wouldn't let it go.
I got shot for it.
Yeah.
By the gun that he gave to the Cal Kestis.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's even deeper. That's awesome. Okay, I need to give a quick shout out to Mr. Craig Perales of Last Call Gaming, because when I was listening to his review or thoughts on Jedi Survivor, he called it there and then. So if this happens, he gets the credit. His prediction is that the next game will be called Jedi Legacy. I think he's on the money. I think the next one. I think he's on the money. Star Wars Jedi Legacy could be the third game. They mention it towards the end. Seer's Legacy.
Right. Yeah.
But also it'll be Cal training Kata. That's what I think is going to happen.
And you get to design how Kata looks, and you get a sorting hat on to see what Jedi Order family you get put into.
Hey, fuck you.
Now that would be an awesome title, though. So
it's kind of a perfect title for it. It sounds like a finale. Again, this is like when we were talking about Horizon. I hope the third one is the last one. I hope it's a trilogy.
Yes.
Plus, most of the Star Wars stories come in trilogies. That's like the Star Wars thing.
Yeah. It's the first one is very sort of hopeful, New Horizons sort of story. The second one is the dark one, except for Attack of the Clones, and then the third one's the finale.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got your light moments, you got your dark moments, and then it ends on that kind of happy embrace, I suppose, except for episode 3.
Yeah. Depends on who you're rooting for.
Yeah, go Sidious.
Okay. Any final thoughts on Jedi Survivor before we bring our spoiler cast to a close? Do you think this is a Game of the Year contender?
No.
Interesting.
Because of the technical issues.
Yeah, I hear you.
See, because I say a lot of the main game reviewers who would be ranking and rating these games and kind of putting their thoughts forward towards what gets watched, I reckon a lot of them play on PC. So
I think you'd be surprised.
Well, even to play on console, I mean, the game crashed on me twice while playing it, and then there was points where textures weren't loading and stuff like that. Like there was a moment where I was running
Yeah.
and I fell through the floor to my death, and I went, okay, that
Oh yeah,
happened.
no, I actually think uh, if you look it up on Metacritic,
Hmm.
um, because I think like some people are possibly mad at the critics. I think the critics were possibly too positive about the game.
Okay.
The user score from the audience is less
Hmm.
because of the problems, the technical problems, which
Right.
are there. There's no ignoring it. Like
No,
they're
no.
there, and it's a fucking shame. And I don't know, delay the game till it's fixed, or I don't know. But no, the Metacritic score is like 86%.
I know, but still,
That's
with
that's
with
that's
with
pretty high.
with so many other games coming out,
I know it's a tough year.
it's a tough
The
year. So
competition is crazy.
I'll put if it gets nominated for Game of the Year, I wouldn't be surprised. There's so much in there for so many different
Sure.
types of players that, like, if you're a completionist, there's so much to do to try complete it. If you're into RPGs, it is an RPG game. If you're into Soulsborne, it's a Soulsborne, Star Wars, whatever.
Yeah.
It has so much there to offer so many people. So if it gets offered it, I would be surprised. But also because of technical issues and stuff, I think it might just get like best action adventure.
Yeah, you know what? I think you're on the money. I think it will be nominated in certain categories. I expect
Mm,
to see Jedi Survivor at the end of this year up for certain categories, but not for Game of the Year.
mm.
Because I just think the competition is too good.
Very good. Sure, it's
And
annoyingly
like
good.
maybe even like last year, if this came out last year, it probably could have been a Game of the Year contender. I don't think it would have beaten God of War Ragnarok or Elden Ring,
Oh no,
right?
no,
That
no,
it
no.
was always going to be one of those two last year. But it still could have been in there, you know what I mean? Because you had like Stray and stuff in there, like
Mm,
it could have beaten out something like that. Um,
mm.
but yeah, I do think you're right. I think somewhere else like action adventure, maybe best narrative. Again, I'm not saying it would win, but
But like,
maybe it would get
yeah.
nominated for those big moments we were talking about that are really the hype of the game. So any closing thoughts then before we finish?
Watch Boss annoyed you the most.
Oh, good question. What boss annoyed me the most? Yeah, I know what you mean because um, not because it was particularly. It wasn't that difficult, right? Now, in saying that, I wasn't playing on the hardest fucking difficulty or anything like that because that's just not my fucking style.
Mm,
And I really wanted to experience the story. That's why I was here for this game.
mm.
Um, I think the second time fighting Dagon Gira,
Okay.
because I did lose to it,
Yeah.
right? And it happened after a big cutscene. And then I was back up in the room where the meditation point was. I had to run. And it was like in other areas where like you have to do this. Like, for example, if you died as Seer during the Vader fight,
You're
the
right
meditation
outside.
point isn't that far. You walk right in, and there's Vader waiting for you, and it's kind of
Yeah.
imposing. This was I was actually like looking down at the platform, Dagon's standing there waiting, and you have to like jump to it, and I'm like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like, this is so immersion. That one was the most immersion breaking for me. The fact that I lost that fight and getting back to him was like he's just standing down there waiting. I was
Yeah.
like,
It doesn't work like.
so, and plus because I'd already fought Dagon before, first time is obviously the introduction to the character. Third time is actually killing the character. This time is just a needless fight.
Hmm.
Not necessary.
I didn't like that. I understand why they did it, but I didn't like that his lightsaber was the exact same as mine.
Why does everyone have a double lightsaber?
I have no idea. It's really annoying, actually. And it splits in two as well. I was like, oh my god! Like
Everyone has a double lightsaber splits in two.
everyone's a force sensitive. Everyone has double sided lightsaber. It was like, stop.
Which boss
Uh,
fight bothered you the most?
same as everyone else. The spawn of Ogdo, the big giant toad in that goddamn basement.
I haven't fought it.
It's rough. It's rough. And
Yeah.
then when I finally killed it, I was like, yay. And there's this weird little toad thing, very similar to something from Jabba the Hutt's place. You go kind of do a force echo thing and it's judging you. You go back to Ogdo. You go back to Dorma Dima or whatever her name is, the shopkeeper. You go back to her
Doma, yeah.
place, Doma, and it's there again. You do a force sensitive, and Calcus is like, no, this can't be. And you got one of those terror things. You know those force tears. You ever do any of them?
Oh yeah.
And you go in there. Not only do you have to fight the spawn of Ogdo, you have to also fight Ogdo Bugdo from the first one. You have to fight
Jesus
both of them at the same
Christ.
time.
No, fuck that.
And I fucked them up.
Wow.
I died twice. Or twice.
Yeah.
But again, that cross guard was so good. But the first time I had to fight Spawn of Ogdo, it killed me so many times. I had to like really go back to that game much later. But that was the one that annoyed me and I think everyone else.
What was your favorite boss fight?
What was my favorite about Darth Vader? It was Darth Vader.
Yeah, just not even for more for the moment of it, but also
Yeah.
Seer was actually so fun to play as.
Yeah. She was awesome.
She was incredible.
I was surprised she didn't have double lightsaber that split in two.
We have mentioned bits of maybe what we expect from part 3. What would you like to see from part 3?
I would like the blaster to be its own separate weapon.
Oh yeah, interesting. Yeah,
A bit of cover shooter might be nice there or something. I don't know.
yeah,
Or maybe
I'd love it, but I can't see them doing it.
they probably won't do it, but or even use like the force because again, you're sort of embracing your dark side here. Use people as meat shields as you're firing with the laser pistol. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But that thing because I didn't really like the laser pistol was handy, but I kind of just wanted it to be its own separate thing. Customizing the mantis, like you could change the colors in the first one.
Sure.
You couldn't in this one, so like bring that back.
Yeah.
And then maybe do like a sort of Mass Effect thing where you build a party and you can bring one of them with you. Now that they've kind of implemented that.
Yeah, because whenever they were with you, whether it was Bode or whether it was Marin, it was awesome.
So I think if you have now various people and you can bring them with you.
I'd be on for all that, and also more planets.
Yeah.
Don't limit it to just 4 or 5 planets. More planets. And it's okay if you only ever visit a planet once and never go back. I'm okay with that. More planets. But I think the writers from the latter half of this game did a solid job, and I'm happy to see what they do next. But now, we would love to hear from you guys. So to those of you who watch this on YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts on Jedi Survivor. What were your favorite moments? What were your highlights? What did you think of the story, and where do you think it's going to go next? Do let us know if you enjoyed this. Why not give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell for all future content. And to those of you listening on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Jedi Survivor. Thank you very much for checking out this week's Spoilercast. We will be back next week to talk about the PlayStation Showcase. Oh my God. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye. May the force be with you.
Oh. Do you know what? Do you know what?
What?
Why did they release this game a week before May the 4th?
So that people would have a higher chance of having it and playing it for May 4th.
You're probably right, but there would also have been something beautiful about releasing it on May the 4th.
That is true.
But you're probably right. Food for thought.